Hello and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee, and this is me, Oberon, with my outlook on the emotional exchanges. And as you may remember, I've updated the reading recently, so we're back to working with the quarterly, or I should say the elemental signs of the Zodiac. So we'll do them as air signs, fire signs, etc. And then I am throwing in the idea that I've begun recently, throwing an additional card from another tarot deck, but I've revamped that a little bit, and that's going to be kind of an indicator of who's coming towards you, whether it's for love, luck, romance, etc. So we start off with a reading from our favorite oracle, the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Abundance is coming your way. When you have an abundant heart, it is only natural that abundance on all levels follows. Feel abundant. Share your love and gifts with those around you. In doing so, you will create a steady flow of abundance. And remember, abundance is a state of mind. Believe you live in an abundant world, and there will be more than enough for all to share. The only limitation to abundance in our world is our own beliefs. All right, so we're going to start off then with the reading, and as usual, I am using the Modern Love Tarot with our artwork. It's by Ethany, and the artwork is by Lucy Morningstar. And we start with air signs: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Ace of Wands, reversed Three of Swords, and the Tower. So, holy moly, as Banshee might say, but it looks like the air signs have a bit going on here. Not sure what this all implies. Let's see. So, it looks like there could be, for the air signs, the beginning of some new friendship, could be, or it could be larger than that. It could be your entrance into maybe a new social scene of some sort. It could be about a number of relationships beginning. It could be maybe a job. You know, it has the wands there, so it could be, you know, friendly co-workers kind of engaging. And with the Three of Swords, you almost feel like this is sort of medicinal in a way too, like maybe this is part of a healing process, is starting a new friendship or starting a new association with a network or a group of people. Maybe it's therapeutic for you without it necessarily being a professional therapy. It might be worth thinking that the Tower then represents really moving through that process and finding that you figured out what you did to bring this to you, you know, that sense of maybe starting over again or healing from the breakup that was indicated with the Three of Swords there. So it's all good, I suppose, in a way. You might find, you know, that maybe you have to just be mindful of the steps you took or the lessons you learned or didn't learn well enough last time. So who's coming towards you? The kind of sign or personality type. And it's the Knight of Wands. It says the rock star. So I guess that's kind of like, you know, that kind of a personality. Knights are usually questing in a way. They're sort of open to movement in a way. And I think I was looking at the Knights as kind of, well, I think of the Knight maybe as more of a Leo personality, but it could be another fire sign. So I'm just saying that, air signs. All right. We are going to move on then to the fire signs. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Another ace for the fire signs, it's the Ace of Pentacles. Then it's reversed Temperance. And it's the upright Five of Wands. So this is the fire signs. And so the Ace of Pentacles could also represent a new beginning. This one seems more material, so this could be maybe, you know, your own sense of a health plan for yourself beginning, a health routine. So maybe you're going to try to diet or exercise more or do something for yourself. It could just be joining a reading club, you know, a book club of some sort. And of course, from an emotional point of view, you might meet new and interesting people there. The Temperance reverse could indicate that maybe there's a little bit of friction right now in a current relationship you have, or within yourself, a feeling of being unsettled or unbalanced emotionally in this respect. So it could be that, you know, you might find you are either dealing with a situation with somebody's neediness or your own, even in a way. It's hard to say exactly with that. It could be about yourself just seeking your own emotional balance. Now, the Five of Wands also presents maybe conflicts in a relationship or a sense of really trying to figure out where your proper role could be in a relationship. It could be that you felt you were more in charge of the relationship and maybe you're not. It could be up for grabs. I'm not really sure. So we're going to look now and see if we can say who's coming towards the fire signs, who might be coming towards them. And so once again, it's just kind of an arbitrary. I might rework this. I'm already sure that I'm not exactly thrilled with this, but we'll see. So it's a prince. It's a Prince of Wands. And it says the journalist. So once again, with the wands, it could be another fire sign of sorts. As a prince, I don't know. Maybe I see it as being more of an Aries, perhaps. And you know, the Banshee has a degree in journalism herself. So I do feel there's an Aries kind of quality there. It could be that maybe an Aries is coming towards the fire signs. And who wouldn't be surprised with that? Fire. Right, so let's move on to the water signs then. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and we have the Four of Wands upright, the Ten of Wands reversed, and the Page of Wands. Boy, there's a lot of fire in these cards here. For every suit, it seemed like there was a bit of fire action, Wands action. But at any rate, the Four of Wands, maybe there's a celebration for the water signs. Maybe it's summer. Maybe it feels like it's just time to celebrate being together. So it could be about a relationship. But the Ten of Wands maybe says that this relationship does have a certain amount of struggle or sense of obligations to maintain it, to make things run smoothly. There's a clock in the background and a calendar, and it's sort of a sense of if things need to run on schedule, then one has, to pay attention and work hard. The Page of Wands at the ends could indicate the invitation or the feeling of communication that involves a party, like was mentioned in the first card. So maybe this is about, being in time for a particular date. Maybe there's a celebration going on and one is hoping that they're prepared enough for it, or prepared enough to go to it, with the invitation angle. So who's coming towards you, water signs? And I'm getting some light there. Wonder what that's about. Princess of Discs. The kindergarten teacher. All right, so if it's a disc, it could be an earth sign. It could be, if it's a princess, that corresponds, I believe, to a Venus element, but the princess could be maybe a Taurus. I'm not sure. Maybe. At any rate, another earth sign is who's coming towards you, and it could be for any number of reasons. We haven't talked about that a whole lot. So good luck with that. So finally, we're on the earth signs. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So the earth signs, and we are done. If you didn't like this reading, you should let me know how I could make it better. But if you liked it, I don't mind hearing about that too. I think I'm going to work on the who gets lucky or who's coming towards you part. Still not feeling it. Maybe I'll have to try something different instead of using the court cards. Yeah, some other method. We'll just have to see. But I guess I needed to try it to figure that out. All right, our cards for Earth signs. 10 of Cups, upright. 5 of Swords is upright. And Strength is upright. Holy moly, once again. It almost feels like for the Earth signs there's a lot of good things happening, but there's still some amount of vacillation towards a dark side, if you want to call it that. You know, the 10 of Cups looks like a really positive family experience. You know, it sort of feels very unconditional and open and loving. But the 5 of Swords looks like pain and suffering, and somebody has to be right and somebody has to accept defeat. But the only ones that matter really are the ones who don't get a voice at all, in a way, too. So, see that there, 5 of Swords. And then the final card is Strength. And of course, Strength always talks about our compassionate strength, our heart, where the strength of our convictions flows from, or how we trust each other because of strength. So it sounds like a bit of back and forth, as I mentioned. I'm not sure what to make of that. It could just be saying this is a real busy week. You're going to go from the highs to the lows, back up to the highs again. So I like it ending on a higher note, at least. Who's coming towards you, Earth signs? And it is the Knight of Swords. And so in this deck, the Knight is kind of like the King. So it could be a rising sign. It could be, how do I call that? Mr. O's having a brain moment. Well, it's an air sign. Swords are air signs. So it could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. I'm sort of looking at it as more as a Gemini personality. It says the Game Master underneath, so I don't know if that's a clue or what. But that's the emotional exchanges for this week. So thank you for coming. I always appreciate the feedback, but you could probably expect my who's coming towards you part to change a little bit as I keep looking for a perfect fit here. Maybe it was just the day. I don't get it. But I'll see you next time. And of course, don't forget to watch Happy Hour tomorrow at 10 a.m. I believe it'll be on at its regular, normal time. And then we're back Sunday in Banshee's chat room for the Material Matters. That's also at 10 a.m. And then later on in the afternoon, we do our regular live stream from 2 to 4 p.m. We will answer your questions. So check it out. Get there early. Usually that one fills up quick. So that was my emotional exchanges for the week. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.